Here's the story.
The 1970s gave us some of television's most memorable moments. But here's what most people don't realize. The opening sequences from this decade didn't just introduce shows. They became cultural phenomena that are still being referenced and parodied today. From animated adventures that made you rush home from school, to dramatic intros that had entire families gathering around the TV, these weren't just title sequences. They were 60-second masterpieces that could make or break a show's success. Today, we're counting down the 10 most iconic TV show openings from the 1970s. And trust me, number 3 will transport you straight back to Saturday mornings. Number 10, The Brady Bunch, 1969 to 1974.
Who was bringing up 3 very lovely girls. All of them had hair of gold.
You think you know what makes a great TV opening, but this one created the template that's still being copied today. Most family sitcoms in the early 70s had simple openings, cast credits over basic theme music. But the Brady Bunch did something revolutionary. It turned the opening into a visual family portrait, using that now famous 9-square grid. The genius was in the simplicity. Each family member got their own box, their own moment to shine, and then, in that perfect final shot, they all came together as one big happy family. It was visual storytelling that even the youngest viewer could understand. 6 kids, 2 parents, 1 house, endless possibilities for chaos and love. What made this opening legendary wasn't just the grid format, it was the promise. Every week, you knew you'd get wholesome family comedy with just enough mischief to keep things interesting. That opening became so iconic that it's still being parodied and referenced in movies and TV shows today. But if you think that was clever, wait until you see how one opening sequence accidentally created one of television's most recognizable location shots. Number 9, Hawaii Five-0, 1968 to 1980. This opening didn't just introduce a TV show, it created television's most recognizable location shot. The Hawaii Five-0 intro was a masterclass in establishing atmosphere through pure visuals. That sweeping aerial shot of Waikiki Beach, the dramatic zoom on Diamond Head, and Jack Lord's perfectly coiffed hair blowing in the trade winds. But here's what made it brilliant. It turned Hawaii into a character in the show. The visual formula was deceptively simple. Paradise with an edge. Beautiful beaches. Then that ominous wave crashing against the rocks. The message was clear. Even in paradise, danger lurks beneath the surface. And the real genius move? That final shot of Jack Lord turning to face the camera on the Ailani Palace balcony. It became so iconic that the building is still known to tourists as the Hawaii Five-0 building. Visitors regularly asked to recreate that exact shot. However, one opening sequence took the concept of visual storytelling and turned it into pure nightmare fuel. Number 8, Kolchak, The Night Stalker, 1974 to 1975. Most TV openings tried to make you feel comfortable. This one wanted to unnerve you from the very first frame. Kolchak, The Night Stalker opening was a masterclass in building atmospheric dread. It started with Carl Kolchak typing at his desk. But the visuals quickly shifted to shadowy Chicago streets, strange silhouettes, and that unforgettable montage of supernatural threats lurking in everyday places. The visual technique was groundbreaking for 1974. Quick cuts between the mundane newsroom and otherworldly dangers. Unusual camera angles that made familiar locations feel threatening. And Darren McGavin's world-weary face promising viewers, this wasn't your typical crime show. This was something that would challenge everything you thought you knew about reality. What made it iconic wasn't just the supernatural elements, it was the promise that evil could be hiding anywhere, even in broad daylight. Every week, that opening guaranteed you'd question what was really happening in the shadows of your own city. But while some openings promised thrills, others promised something even more powerful, pure escapism. Number 7, Fantasy Island, 1977 to 1984. The plane! The plane! It became more than just a catchphrase. It became a cultural phenomenon. The Fantasy Island opening was visual wish fulfillment at its finest. That iconic shot of the seaplane approaching the mysterious island, followed by Tattoo's excited announcement from the bell tower, told viewers they were about to escape reality for an hour. But here's what made it brilliant. The opening never showed you the fantasies, just the arrival, the mysterious Mr. Rourke in his white suit, and the promise that anything was possible on this magical island. It was visual marketing genius. Sell the dream, not the details. The tropical setting, the sense of unlimited possibility, that air of sophisticated mystery, all combined to create an opening that made viewers feel like they were checking into the ultimate resort where dreams came true. Even today, that seaplane shot is instantly recognizable. Yet one opening took the concept of visual storytelling and turned it into pure artistic expression. Number 6, The Mary Tyler Moore Show, 1970 to 1977. This opening didn't just introduce a character, it launched a revolution. The Mary Tyler Moore Show opening was deceptively simple. A young woman moving to the big city, exploring Minneapolis. And finally, in that iconic moment, throwing her hat into the air in pure joy. But what looked like a simple sequence was actually a bold statement about women's independence in the 1970s. Every shot was carefully chosen. Mary shopping alone, Mary at work, Mary living her life on her terms. The visual message was clear. Women could make it on their own. That hat toss wasn't just celebration, it was liberation captured in one perfect moment. The opening became so iconic that the intersection where it was filmed became a pilgrimage site for fans. But more importantly, it became a symbol of female empowerment that resonated far beyond television, inspiring countless women to pursue their own dreams. However, some openings didn't need deep meaning, they just needed to be absolutely unforgettable. Before we get to the top 5, thanks for watching. And if you're enjoying this nostalgic trip through TV history, hit that subscribe button to help us keep bringing you more forgotten gems from television's golden age. It'll really help us out. Now, back to our list. Number 5, The Love Boat, 1977 to 1986. This opening turned a cruise ship into America's floating fantasy. The Love Boat opening was pure visual wish fulfillment. That majestic shot of the Pacific Princess cutting through azure waters, glamorous passengers boarding with their dreams and secrets, and the promise that romance was just a deck chair away. It was 60 seconds of pure escapism that made every viewer want to pack their bags immediately. But the real genius was in the guest star montage. Quick shots of familiar faces looking relaxed and happy, promising viewers they'd see their favorite celebrities in romantic comedic situations they'd never see anywhere else. It was like a movie trailer that guaranteed star power every single week. The opening became a cultural phenomenon that helped revitalize cruise travel in America. The show's popularity coincided with a boom in cruise bookings, as viewers wanted to experience their own Love Boat adventure. A TV opening had tapped into America's desire for affordable luxury. But while some openings sold dreams, others created pure adrenaline. Number 4, The $6 Million Man, 1973 to 1978.
First bionic man. Steve Austin will be that man. Better.
This opening didn't just introduce a character, it created a superhero. The $6 Million Man opening was visual storytelling at its most efficient. In 60 seconds, it explained the entire premise. Astronaut crashes, gets rebuilt with bionic parts, becomes a superpowered agent. No dialogue needed. Just pure visual narrative with that unforgettable slow motion footage. The slow motion effects, the electronic sound effects, those iconic close-ups of the bionic eye and arm, they created a sense of power that made every kid want to be Steve Austin. The opening promised viewers they'd see impossible feats every week. A man who could run faster than cars, jump over buildings, and see through walls. But here's what made it legendary. It turned a man into a machine, then made that machine heroic. The visual effects were groundbreaking for 1973, and the concept was so compelling that it spawned an entire franchise, including the Bionic Woman. Yet, one opening took visual effects and turned them into pure educational magic. Number 3. Schoolhouse Rock, 1973 to 1985.
Your schoolhouse rocking, a chip on the block, on your favorite schoolhouse rock.
You think educational TV was boring, but this opening changed everything. Schoolhouse Rock didn't just teach kids, it made learning look like the coolest thing on television. That opening sequence, with its vibrant animation and infectious energy, promised viewers that education could be fun, colorful, and unforgettable. The visual style was revolutionary. Bold colors, dynamic animation, characters that moved with musical precision. It looked nothing like traditional educational programming, and that was exactly the point. This wasn't your classroom, this was entertainment that happened to teach you something. But here's the real genius. The opening made learning look like Saturday morning cartoons. Kids didn't feel like they were watching school. They felt like they were watching their favorite animated shows. And in the process, they absorbed grammar, math, history, and civics without even realizing it. The impact was massive. An entire generation learned fundamental concepts through these animated segments, and teachers embraced them as classroom tools. A simple opening sequence had revolutionized educational television. However, 2 openings took visual storytelling to levels that still haven't been matched. Number 2. The Muppet Show, 1976 to 1981. This opening didn't just introduce a variety show. It created controlled chaos. The Muppet Show opening was visual anarchy at its finest. Muppets running everywhere. Kermit trying to maintain order while introducing the guest star. And that final moment where everything comes together for the big finish. It perfectly captured the show's blend of sophistication and silliness. But the real brilliance was in the pacing. The opening built from quiet anticipation to complete mayhem, then resolved into harmony. It was a perfect metaphor for the show itself, organized chaos that somehow always worked. Combining highbrow entertainment with pure puppet pandemonium. The visual effects were groundbreaking. Seeing dozens of Muppets interacting in the same frame was revolutionary for 1976. But more than that, the opening promised viewers they'd see something unique every week, and it delivered. Celebrity guests, musical numbers, comedy sketches that appealed to both kids and adults. The Muppet Show opening became a template for variety shows, but none ever matched its perfect balance of chaos and control. But one opening stands above all others, creating a visual experience so perfect, it defined an entire era of television. Number 1, All in the Family, 1971 to 1979.
Songs that made the hit parade.
Guys like us, we had it made.
This opening didn't just introduce a sitcom, it captured the changing soul of America. The All in the Family opening was revolutionary in its simplicity. Archie and Edith Bunker, sitting in their modest Queens living room, singing together while Archie played their upright piano. But what looked like a basic domestic scene was actually a masterpiece of visual storytelling. It revealed everything about these characters, and the cultural divide they represented. The genius was in the intimate details. Archie's confident voice carrying the melody about simpler times. Edith's tentative harmony. Their working-class living room with its worn furniture and family photos. Every element told you exactly who these people were, and what they believed, before the first scene even started. But here's what made it legendary. It was honest. While other shows had flashy openings with big budgets and elaborate sets, All in the Family just showed you 2 people in their real home, singing about a world that was rapidly changing around them. The nostalgic song perfectly captured the generational tensions the show would explore every week. The opening became so iconic because it didn't try to be anything other than authentic. That simple living room scene captured something essential about American family life in transition, and it did it with nothing more than two voices, an old piano, and genuine emotion. These openings didn't just introduce TV shows, they created cultural moments that defined a decade. From the chaos of The Muppet Show to the intimacy of All in the Family, each one understood that you have 60 seconds to make viewers care about your world. The 1970s proved that great television starts before the first scene. It starts with an opening that makes a promise, and then spends the next hour keeping it. Which of these openings instantly transported you back to your childhood? And which one do you think deserves a modern remake? Let us know in the comments below. And if you love this trip through television history, make sure to check out our video on the most controversial TV moments of the 1970s. Trust me, you won't believe what actually made it on air back then. See you on the next one.